Got these sweet potato slips ready to go out in the garden. I need to get them out there before they start crisping up too much. So come on. First thing I've got to do is get rid of some of these old carrots that I've let go to seed. They have done their job. They have attracted pollinators, but they need to go. It is time for something else to be in this spot. I have my little helper with me. I think he's trying to tell me which ones to save and which ones to put to the compost. But I do have some I'll save for eating. And the rest of this great big bunch will just go out into the compost pile. And it looks huge, and it is huge, but it's really light, so no worries there. So once I got ahead and took that to the compost pile, now I've got to clear out this area, make sure it's ready for the tiller. And I found a little bit of a surprise. I have a couple of okra that have sprouted on their own, and I'm going to dig them up, transplant them, try to put them over along the side of the yard where I'm going to grow my sunflowers and okra this year. You'll see me do that a lot. I tend to transplant things around my yard quite a bit. So I brought them over here, just kind of tucking them in where I've got some open spaces. And again, my helper was right alongside me, trying to see what I was doing. Hoping to fill this area in to make actually like a wall of sunflowers and okras. I think that'll be really pretty, and it'll hide an area that I'm not super fond of. There are some coming up that are spotty. So you can see that the tillers are working pretty good. And I've been trying to make sure that I use it as much as I can to help loosen up the dirt in these areas. It has just been really helpful and a great tool, and I highly recommend it. So I've got this area pretty well loosened up, just getting it set to where I'm comfortable being able to put some slips out. And I did the same thing on the other end of this bed. You can see where I've got a stem in there that I've saved to let compost in place from okra last year. So I brought over my sweet potato slips and some garden gloves. I've just been putting them in this container. Wanted to show you how these roots went just in water. Just a lot of roots. This is just to show you exactly how many roots we got just from putting this in some water over a few weeks. I had another that I had tried to grow in dirt. Unfortunately, we had a mouse get into my greenhouse, and he pretty well wreaked havoc on that experiment. So I'm thankful that I had this one going as well. It just amazes me to see how these roots can grow just by sitting in some water. Just monstrous. You can pull them apart and it doesn't even faze them. Plant them right in the ground and they'll take off like nothing happened most of the time. Now, not every single one of these slips started to grow roots on it. I do have at least one that got no roots on it, and I'm just going to try to plant that and see what happens. Whether you stick it in the dirt, if it does the same thing. It'll be kind of an interesting experiment. And then this potato that has all these roots on the bottom, I think I'm also going to plant it and just see what happens. So I'm just mounding them up in the dirt, letting them have a little spot of their own about a foot apart. And we'll see if I get any potatoes out of that worth keeping. If nothing else this year, I want to try to eat some of the greens, find some recipes for those, because my understanding is that those are just as edible as the rest of the plant. And I want to see what you can do with them. And no matter how many potatoes I do get from this grouping that I'm planting today, I'm going to enjoy watching them grow, because for me, that is half of the enjoyment of my garden. No matter what I actually harvest from it, I harvest a lot of time enjoying what I'm watching grow. We had a lot of rain this weekend, but I still need to water in brand new slips. And then I'll gather up my carrots and take them in the house. And I have one more project to complete today that has to do with these holes I found. Came out today and found all of these holes in my yard. They're just everywhere. No idea what they are. Had a lot of rain. We'll see what happens when I fill them with water. Maybe nothing. Something comes out. If they look like they're deep. I just don't know what to think of these holes. Whatever they are, they don't seem super deep. They're just everywhere. Don't see any bubbles coming up that would make it like it was a deep hole where it was trying to recess into the ground. It's just so weird. Thankfully, they don't seem to be in my garden. It's almost like something's been digging. And these holes are way too small for my dogs to have dug. Just weird. Well, I had all those holes pop up. We've had more rain since. And they really haven't come back like what they were before. So I'm still at a loss. If anybody knows what it might have been, if you've seen something similar, I'd be very curious to find out. It's time to put out some new mole stakes. We've got something in the yard making little holes, and it's time to refresh. And I did find it kind of funny. That right there is the skinniest gopher I've ever seen. But I'm going to use them anyway. They're most the same as my other ones. And just press them in the ground. They do have a little on-off switch on the bottom, and I have made sure these are all turned on. So I'm going to find them some spots to go in the garden. Got to keep things out of these sweet potatoes that I just planted. And we'll hope it works. Because I don't know what made those holes in my yard. But I do know what my biggest gopher problem is. This is my biggest gopher. You see this evidence on him? Right there. Caught him digging a hole. You know better, Jake. Big gopher. It's time to come out and see how the sweet potato slips are doing after being put in the garden last night. Okay. So far it looks pretty good. Everybody's standing upright, and it doesn't even look like any critters found this potato, so that's good news. And this one here that I put in that had absolutely no roots is not even wilted at all, so maybe next year I won't even have to wait for roots. That's kind of nice. And it looks like the mole repellers, for the moment anyway, are doing their job, so I hope that continues through the year. I want to thank you for spending some time today with me in my garden. My name is Danny. I welcome you to come and spend some time with me. Watch how everything grows. Because there's always something new to see.